Hello everybody, so this is Jose, and actually Laurel is here too, but she's going to be a little bit behind the camera trying to control the computers and cameras and such. I just wanted to record a little video to show you some of the things with Perception Neuron 3. Now, briefly you might notice that we're in a different location. Our old studio sadly kept getting wet because of roof leaks. Now, it probably should be fixed by now, but for now, we are in a different location. We've transformed part of our home into a mini studio so that we can keep going while everything gets sorted out over there. And this is likely to be our permanent location actually going forward. So anyway, you're here probably to see some stuff with Perception Neuron 3. So let's get started. I'm going to briefly move this out of the way. We're going to need this tray in a little bit for some of the calibration steps. So there are lots of screens here. There's one over there, one here, and one recording that I hope to put together with the video so that you can see things. Anyway, if you're looking at it using the 180 camera, feel free to look around. You should be able to see from different angles. Okay, let's see. So here is one of the kits, Perception Neuron 3. It's been charging, so all the charging lights are right now are off. So what I'm going to do to get it started, actually, they recommend that you get it off from the charger for about 5 minutes before you start using it. While that is cooling, so that's called like a cooling period. So while that's happening, I'm going to start the software here, Access Studio. Now, one of the things is, from what we know, from what the Perception Neuron people have said, this system is a lot more resistant to magnetism than PN32. However, as I'm going to show you, there are times where other things affect it. Well, you know, the things it's still getting affected by the magnetism. So they have some way on the software to let you know when the sensors are coming into contact with something magnetic. So I will show you that as well. Anyway, let's see what happens. I'm going to start a new project, and I go to my capturing tab. And this is one of the things that's very important right now. If you look at the screen, and in fact, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this, move it to the big screen. And we should have the picture-in-picture anyway. But if you look at that screen, on the right side, you will see this little green icon. Basically, when you see that little green icon, what that means is that it's actually found the transmitter. Okay, so if that is not enabled, that means that you're going to have to just unplug the transmitter, move it to another USB port, do whatever you have to do to try to get that to be enabled. All right, so that's going to tell you that the transmitter is actually enabled. So that's a good sign for us. And the very first step, after you let this cool, after you've turned off the charging, you can unplug it, and we're going to do the connection. Now, I don't know if you can see my sensors. In a little bit, they should start blinking. And they blink in one of three colors. It's either blue, green, or purple. And that has to do with the channel. Because we bought two systems, they come as a default on the blue channel, which might be channel 2 or 3, doesn't matter. But what that means is that you have to switch one of them to be in a different channel so that they don't interfere with each other. cool little thing is that this little USB transmitter also has a color. So I don't know if you can see over here. This is going to be a lot easier with the 180 camera to see. But Laurel system is blue, and mine is actually in the purple channel, and you can tell from the transmitter. So that's a really nice little touch there. Okay, I don't see them blinking a lot. Do you see them blinking? Occasionally? Okay, let's see what happens. So the first step is to connect it. And in order to do that, they recommend that you find a table, and this is why we're having the tray table over here, and that you put the case. So basically they want something that is not metallic. And so I'm going to move this over here. I don't know if that camera will be able to see it. So the 2D camera might be out of luck. But the 180 camera should get this fine. So well, let's go and hit that button and try to connect it. Okay. So basically, it's going to tell you instructions, you know, where to put the base, and you know whether you need to unplug it, plug it back in, and so forth. So the first page is just instructions. This is a wizard, a connection wizard. Here are some more instructions, and here it goes. And it recommends that you don't move at all. And especially not around the sensors while it's doing this initialization and stuff. So, okay, perfect. And this is what I wanted to show you, because 90% of the time right now for us, this is what happens. Something fails on this stage. And it's really hard for us to figure out. So we haven't gotten to the point yet where we can get this to work out 100% of the time. And actually, at least on my system, sensor initialization seems to fail a lot. Signal quality also is another one that fails. Normally number 4, if 2 fails, step number 4 tends to fail. Sensor count always succeeds, so which is a good thing. But we have to go now and try to figure out how to get this to initialize. It does have the next enable. I haven't figured out what happens if you just don't complete the steps. We've always tried to make them complete. Normally, what tends to fix it for my system. Now, Laurel system seems to do better. And we haven't figured that out either, whether it's where we put it, whether there's some, you know, some magnetism that's affecting it. But after we've used it and charged it again, we run into this trouble. Now, what seems to fix it sometimes is to do the magnetic calibration. Okay, so I'm going to try that and see what happens, and I'll show you how that's done. It's actually a lot easier than on PN32. I don't know if you've owned PN32 or not, but if you ever had to do the magnetic calibration, that involved taking each sensor one by one and doing this type of motion on it, and then setting it on the table and seeing if it had any drifts or not. This type of magnetic calibration or anti-magnetic calibration, it's a lot easier to do because you can do it with all the sensors at once. So let me show you how that works. I'm going to go and cancel this. Actually, I think I might have to keep going until it gets to the calibration step, and then I'm going to cancel calibration for now. So my character is all messed up there. I'm going to go to the menu, the main menu, and there is a magnetic calibration step. All right, now standard is the one I've been doing the most. The simplified seems to be a quick thing, and we tried it, and it didn't seem to fix our issue. Now, whether it fixes other issues or not, you know, it must, because there's an option to do that. But let's go ahead and do the actual full step so that you can see it. I'm going to first connect. And what you want to see here is that all your sensors are green. And one thing that you might forget, because we tend to forget about this one, is that there's a spare sensor that gets included with the kit. So you want to look and see down below your character that you also have a green light on spare sensor. Okay, so we have that. It looks like it's finding all the sensors. That's a good sign. I'm going to go and hit start. Actually, I'm going to probably have Laurel hit start, because what happens is that you better bring your A game when it comes to calibrating, because as soon as you hit start, it's assuming that you are doing the calibration. So here's Laurel, and she's going to hit. So the mouse is over there. Yeah, you're not on the start option right now. You're on connect. There we go. Okay, let's hit start. Okay, so he says to put your hand, and then you basically do the figure 8. Okay, and then you turn it, and you do a figure 8 again, and then you turn it, and then you do a figure 8 again. And you keep doing that, turning it, figure 8, and then you're done. Oh, and we had a big problem this time. Calibration fails for the following sensors. It's listing pretty much every sensor. So let's hit OK. Let's make sure. All right, I'm going to do this. Now, I'm sure maybe if anybody from Perception Neuron is watching this, they're probably cringing a little bit and saying, no, that's not how you do it, and it should be much easier than this. But we just wanted to show what we've been going through, and hopefully, you know, we'll get much better at this, and we'll show that as well. And maybe we'll get to the point where this won't be a big deal to connect at all. But let's try this again. I'm going to go and hit start, and I'm going to follow the instructions. Okay, rotate, rotate, figure 8, rotate, figure 8. Wow, so this wasn't doing this before, but we're gonna have to do it again. And I might need to trim this video later, because I'm sure people are gonna get bored of watching me doing the figure 8. You can see, but they are all. I'm gonna make sure they're all down. I see that the text should be all the same, right? Like pointing in this. This is supposed to be a directional also. They tell you when you unpack it that it goes a certain way, so you can't just rotate them. So I normally leave the spare sensor in there so that I can tell the way that the words are supposed to go.
But the USB is on the bottom.
The USB here is on the bottom. Okay, so that's another way to tell. All right, I'm going to try one more time, and if it doesn't work, I'm just going to plug it back in, turn off the sensors, and turn them back on. One sec, let me, all right. Okay, now, does it show the sensors this way or sideways? I'm not sure. Let's try.
It shows the plugs on the right-hand side.
Oh, the plugs are over here. Ah, okay. Well, this could be part of the reason this is hasn't been working. All right, let's try it. Okay, figure 8, and then rotate it. Figure 8, figure 8, figure 8. Nope. All right. We're going to have Laurel try it out this time. Do you want to try it?
Sure.
Okay. Tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready, but you have to connect first.
Oh, yeah. Let's connect one more time. I really didn't think this would be the step that this normally works. Oh, okay. See, actually, when it detects that it works, sometimes it cuts you off halfway through and says, I've got enough information. So I don't know what you did differently.
Were you ending with it upside down and then flipping it each time?
Oh, maybe not. Okay, is that what? Explain, maybe.
So when he does his figure eights, he puts his hand
Yep.
down and he flips it back and forth, but he always ends with it upside down and then flips it to a new
Ah. Success. See, somebody was watching. So good. There you go. Pro tip. All right. So now, let's hit OK, and let's have you do the initialization. Does it say which way to put the sensors in order to do this step? Okay. Hit OK. And let's go to the connection, the green one. Okay, let's look at the instructions. Does it show? It doesn't really show, I mean, which way it's supposed to be lined up with relation to the transmitter, right? Okay. What else? Go to the next one. Again, it doesn't show where the transmitter is. It says charging dock that way. Maybe, and just to put it on a wooden surface and on top of the case. Okay? All right, I'm going to hit next and then just hold very still. So now our signal quality is fine. Sensor initialization still failing, but we have 3 out of 4. Sadly, sensor initialization has been the one that is the hardest for us to get to work.
The only hint it gives for that is not to move and make sure no one touches the table.
And let's turn it around. And actually, let's make it so that it's sort of angled that way or something. All right, let's see if that does it. All right, go ahead. Okay, so, and here's where you cross your fingers and hope that sensor initialization decides to work. Yeah, so we have gotten it to work eventually. Sometimes what I do is, or actually let's just go previous here, a couple of steps. Yeah, go down here. Okay. And then I unplug this. I unplug the transmitter. I plug it back in. And the reason I had to go back is because if you try to unplug it and plug it back in, it's not going to find anything then if you're already on the third step. It sort of has to reinitialize the transmitter. And let's see if it does any better. And yes! When that happens, you feel like crying. You just feel like so happy. I mean, okay, so I don't know if there are bugs. I'm sorry, Perception Neuron. We're probably not like the best at doing this. But, you know, we have a lot of experience with computer stuff and software. We're not newbies to technology, of course. But these are the issues that we've been having. And let's keep going then and hit next. And this is the part where you can actually put on the suit. Now, I'm going to put it on. Whether I'm going to keep the video with all that stuff or not, I'm not sure. But let's just do it. And I might need Laurel's assistance at some point. And here we go. Let's just do it. I'm going to move this a little bit to the side. I'm going to come over here. As embarrassing as it is to put on these suits, I'm going to do it for you guys. Now, these are nicely labeled. And if you want to sit down, that's fine, or whatever. I'll get you in a second. So, okay. Now, I don't know. This camera is probably not going to be able to show us enough. But here is the foot, the lower leg, and the upper leg. Now, Perception Neuron 32, if you ever wore that, because it was all wired, you had to start with the upper leg. You know, you actually had to put that in first, or else, you know, you wouldn't be able to like get it over to the right spot. And this is actually kind of a similar situation we found out, because if you put on the other straps, you're going to, you know, wish that you had put your upper leg first, because this has some elastic band like that sewn in. Yeah, you can't like undo this part. So it helps to put that on first. Now, as far as sensors, when we got this, the sensors were arranged in some manner. I don't even remember how they were arranged. After trial and error, we've rearranged things so that left is on the left, right is on the right. So I like the way that we've arranged it now, because it's easy, of course, if you have it the right way, because they were upside down, to start with the legs, and then I have the arms and the hands over here, and we have the hip and the spine over here, and the head and the shoulders. And everything is left, right, left, right. So I recommend that if you're going to use it, that you come up with your own organization thing so that it's easier to put this on quickly. Okay, so let's get going. I'm going to start. Let's actually put this over here. This also tends to come apart very easily. So, and no big deal. There's no electronics things in between. It's just a click system. So it's just to keep them together. So that's not a big deal. But anyway, here's the way that it works. Let me take off my glasses because I am blind. I recommend nobody gets old, because that's what happens. All right, so we have, let's start with the right. So we have the right upper leg. Okay, good. So I actually put the one that is supposed to go first. All right, and these slide pretty easily. Now, there's nothing in the manual that we saw, at least I don't remember, which way this is supposed to go in or out. But what we found is that it's easier to have the words on the outside so that you can see if you put the right one on the right place, and also probably to protect those little sensors in here. So this just slides in. There's nothing electronic about this. This is just a passive mount. And basically, yeah, you slide this in. And this is where it comes to the embarrassing part, because, you know, we didn't hire a model for doing this. But here's how it works. Now, it's a little bit hard to put this, to sort of figure out where this is going to go. I imagine with enough practice we will, but the sensor is supposed to turn out to be over here, okay? So you sort of keep rotating this It's probably going to be somewhere around there. We've only had this for a week, so let's see what happens. Okay, so that's pretty close. So then you just have to sort of turn that like that until that is to the side like that. All right, let's do that with the next one. This is the foot, so we'll leave that for last. Here is the lower leg. Okay, so right leg is the name of that sensor. And this one is a lot easier to put on because there's no other loop that you have to put. And what they recommend on this one is that it's a little bit in. What you're trying to do is avoid the muscle and try to get as much of the bone as possible. So I'm going to go this way. And this one's easier because, again, you can place it where you want it to end up and then do the inner loop. And I'm going to use the right foot. So unlike Perception Neuron 32, where you could put the sensors anywhere you wanted, this one is different because they're all labeled. So you actually have to put the one on the right place. Now the straps are not labeled. You can have them on either left or right. So that's fine. But the sensors, you got to make sure that you do that. Okay. So yeah, it's going to take me a little while, and I'm not sure, again, if we're going to keep all of this on the video, but we might as well get it. The other set of legs is over here. All right, so let's see. Yep, this is the other upper leg. And we have the lower leg and the foot. And, one of the challenges, if you see here, this just got stuck to my other strap. No big deal though, right? Okay, so we have the left upper leg. Again, the way that I'm inserting it is sort of like so that the, did that turn off? Recording might have turned off. Nope, it says that it's on. It's probably switching files. Okay, good. Is that still recording? Check to see if that camera is still recording. You can press like the trigger in the front, I think. Yeah, no, up, yeah. Yep. Aha, okay, well, we lost that one. So let's just keep going over here. So, again, same type of deal. We're going to slide leg in here. If I manage not to fall, that would be really good. If I happen to fall, then that would also be good for you, a YouTube video, right? That would be funny. Okay. Again, I'm thinking I'm going to try to see if I can learn the pattern here. Yeah, look at that. Happened to get it. I'm so proud of myself. All right, here we go. Let's get this one over here. Anyway, as I was saying, sadly, the studio we were renting kept getting wet and our equipment kept getting soaked. Now, towards, after it happened twice, we got smart and actually covered all this stuff just in case. But unfortunately, we had to find another spot if we wanted to keep recording videos. And so we decided that we actually like this setup over here. Okay, so the legs are done. let's see what else I have over here. I have the, okay, these are the forearms. Same thing as with the legs. You want to actually put the upper arms on first. And it doesn't matter if you put the shoulders on or not. Okay. I mean, it matters for motion capture, but it doesn't matter when you put them on or not. So the head is fine. That one can go last. Okay, I have an upper arm here. Upper arm, same thing with the upper leg, has a loop that you want to get to. So let's start over here. And conveniently, if I look back, yep, I have my upper arms right and left in that location. All right. I thought I heard the door, but all right. Here we go. So let's put the upper arm. Same situation though, where you have to sort of learn how this is going to end up. That's not good, because actually that's not going to be able to drag anything there. This is going to have to be, this is the way that we look at it. If you do like your Superman pose, it's supposed to end up right around here. Okay, so let's say we move it this way. Nope, it's going backwards. No, I think I want it to go the other way maybe, huh? Let's see what happens. You know, and if you get tired of doing that, you just sort of do this, which is kind of hard to do once it's Velcroed in. But here we go. And after that, you're too tired and you just give up. All right, so here is the forearm. And what else do we have here? Oh, I think one of the straps fell, and that's why I'm not counting. Okay. Let's do all the right ones first. So this is the forearm, and here is my right forearm. Okay. This one also has a loop. And what we saw in the instructions is that you sort of want to be between your wrist and your elbow here. Okay. And this one, from what I saw, also in the manual, sort of wants to be on top, lined up with the sensor on the wrist there. If I'm not doing anything, something correctly, please leave a comment. I would appreciate that. Maybe someone from Perception Neuron knows a better way to put these on, and that would be good. Now the hand one I'm going to leave for last, because that goes with the gloves. Okay, so I like to do that as a set. Let's do the other upper arm for the left. See, and I don't even have to check too much because of the way that I arranged them after I took them off. That they're just in the order that I like to put the suit on. So let's get this over here and sort of match it in position. It's very hard to put this on and talk at the same time. Don't know where the sensor went. Here we go. What do you think? Is this sort of lined up, or maybe rotate just so you could?
Either that one forward or that one back.
Oh, I see. So this one needs to go back a little more? No, I think this one should go forward more, maybe. And how about, how high are they? Do they?
Supposed to be about halfway. Here, need some help?
Mine needs some help. Superman pose. Yeah, that hurts a bit, but
Sorry.
how's that one? Okay, and this is why Laurel and I are not both putting the suit on at the same time, because there would be a lot of work to do to get them both. Okay, here we go. And I apologize that I'm sweating so much. We have the lights. Air conditioner I don't think is kicking in or reaches here too much. And here we go. So this sort of goes right around there. How about that? Does that look all right? Okay. Let's get so in Perception Neuron 32, the waist area was actually the hardest to put on, and this is like the easiest one now to put on, which is awesome. So this is the hip. Verify, but it should be right there. And the hip goes in the back. All right. If you don't mind, I'm not going to show that too much. But it sort of goes around there and gets adjusted a little bit there. All right. Very good. And then we have the chest area. Okay, now these are hard to put on by yourself. I mean, it's not hard to put on, but it's hard to get it on the right spots without some help. So first put the spine. Again, this is all going to be on the back as well, like the one on the hip. And so you have to sort of figure out, okay, so this is going to be my left, this is going to be my right shoulder, and I have them left and right shoulder. So let's put the right shoulder in first, and the left shoulder next. And this is what I like to do. I like to sort of go this way. Tangled up. And then Laurel gets me out of it. And anyway, yeah, see, it's perfect. Anyway, so I'm going to adjust that. Laurel's going to help me adjust it. Now, by now, probably, is it? Okay. So get the shoulders back where they were. And let's see if I don't kill my microphone, because I didn't think about that. Oh, boy. All right. How was that? Did we do it? Okay. We're going to get through this. Let's do the, let's do the head next. See? This is like right where my mic is.
It is. Do you want me to move your mic?
No, that would be worse, I think. So let's just do that. All right, so here is the head. I got to tell you that the first day I could not pull those out very well. Now the head should be the way that I left it before, so I don't have to hopefully adjust the strap too much. Unless my head's gotten bigger. How's that?
You're sideways.
I am sideways. Okay. All right.
Yep.
Look at that. All right, so now we just have about 8 more sensors. Here we go. Actually, this, I'm kind of laughing, but this is much better than Perception Neuron 32 used to be for us. And maybe I'm an old man now or something, but anyway, so I have these grouped thumb. Again, I'm going to try to insert. These are basically a little bit of cloth there, a pocket that these things go into.
Do you want me to do the left while you do the right?
Yeah, actually, I just realized, is this the right? Yes, it is the right. Good. So I just like to slip in the thumb, followed by the index finger. All right. Followed by the middle finger. Okay. You know, I like to not edit these videos so much with Flippity Flop because I want people to sort of see the reality of things. Like, for example, right now I'm really struggling to put this in the pocket. But partly it's because I'm trying to rush so that this is not ultra boring. But here is me struggling a bit.
And two things that we've had happen are sometimes these will get turned sideways and then it messes up your hand, and so you need to make sure they end up flat.
Yes, that is a good point because sometimes it's easy to get these like turned a little bit. All right, so
And the other thing is you want to make sure this edge goes all the way over the sensor, because we've had it that when we've tried, for instance, clapping with them.
then you see a sensor fly out, and that's not a good feeling. That is definitely not a good feeling when you see a sensor. You got to recalibrate after that. So you've got to make sure that that is in right. Now, I got the large gloves, but you know, again, we're laughing a lot because it's taken us a while to put this on. But this is so much easier to put on than the Perception Neuron 32 used to be. Yes. Like, this is it. And it feels comfortable. I actually feel like I can grab things with it, which is nice. So let me do the left here. Okay. So even though it looks like I'm struggling a little bit, it's actually not bad at all. It makes you feel good about this system. Okay, now here, if you can see, my thumb ended up not in the right spot. So I'm going to adjust my glove a little bit and hope that I don't tear it up or something. Okay, the other fingers look fine. All right, so if you can come and help me with the calibration, let's actually do the calibration step now that we've put on the suit and see what we can see. All right, let me move the chair out of the way. And I'm going to stand somewhere in the middle. Stand right in front of the camera, right around here. And we'll do the calibration. Okay, so it's giving you some steps.
Now, is the spur supposed to show up on this one too?
The what?
Was the spur?
No, I don't think so. Go ahead and... Okay, so it's going to start you with the calibration. The first is an A pose. Why don't you... Ready? Why don't you tell people which one?
Now we're doing the T pose.
T pose, which...
Comes down all the way. And then this is called the B pose.
The B pose.
And the P pose.
And the P pose, which they tell you keep your thumb straight. Okay, I probably switched it a little bit. All right, how does it look?
Actually, you look good.
Okay. And we are doing all right. And you know what? Again, I feel like the data so far, just looking at it, looks a lot better than what we had before with Perception Neuron 32. Now, don't get me wrong, Perception Neuron 32 was a cool system. I don't want to like make it sound like it's not doing its thing. But you know what? We are not recording the screen.
I know, because you switched it.
Because I switched it over there.
Yeah.
okay. But that's okay, because in the 180 video, if that's what you're watching, and that's probably the only one we're going to release, you're able to see it over there, okay? So, if you, yeah, should we record that? Actually, we'll do both. We'll do both, okay? For now, let's just watch the screen over there. Let's show the hands. Let me turn this way, right? Yep. Okay. So here I'm making fists, and I'm doing 1, 2. Now, notice that there's 3 sensors. So you're not going to be able to count 1 through 5, because what happens is the software tries to figure out what to do with the other 2 fingers based on the middle finger. So if you start counting, let's say I start with my thumb, and I never start with my thumb, but I go 1, 2, when I hit 3, it's going to put all the fingers up, okay? So even though I have 2 fingers here, you notice that it thinks all the fingers are up. Actually, it doesn't all the way. Notice that it doesn't really all the way. But that's what happens. Now you can, let's see what happens. Here's one issue that we've been having a lot. And it's with the clapping of the hands. Let me see if I can get to a location. Can you see it there? Okay. Now what happens when I bring... Okay, like that? Yep. Better? Yep. Even though I'm giving you guys the back. Now notice I have my hands all together, but on the video, they're crossing each other. Okay? Now, let me... yeah, hopefully this will look good enough for the first video. We'll figure out something else so that we can do the picture-in-picture of the next one. My bad. I thought we were recording that as well, but we're not. So, okay, let's do something else. I've been asked to show what happens if you touch your head, for example. Okay, so let me touch my head. How does it look? Because I can't see. Am I missing? Yeah. Oh, well, actually, I'm missing like front and back, right? But it's there in the area.
But also your right hand is closer and your left hand is farther.
Ah, look at that. Because part of the problem is like if I put my hands together, and it's kind of hard to see both at the same time, but it's sort of like one is forward and the other, it seems like, right? Yeah. Now, we try to go, here's another thing they tell you to do, which is the body dimension. Like, let's switch to that tab real quick. So, they tell you to measure yourself, and they show you in the manual different places to measure yourself. So like the head, the neck, the shoulder width, the arms, all that stuff. And to enter your measurements, I create a template. So we created one. This one is Jose, 2021. I named it by the year because I'm hoping that I can still grow a little bit next year, and I'll need a new template. But anyway, it's possible that if we tweak this even more, so we try to measure ourselves according to what the manual said as well as we could. And anyway, you know, maybe if we tweak that a little bit more, we can get the hands, or maybe there's something with the software that will come later as a software update. We don't know yet. We're gonna keep playing with it, but let's show some of the cool stuff, because even though the hands and maybe the contact, I mean, I'm pretty close to the area, right? I'm here. This is something we can work with in post that we can clean up, because I'm touching my hips here, and that seems to be working. I'm touching the head, and I'm in the same area, kind of. The hands together, not so well. And we've calibrated, tried it a lot of times, so not so good, right? I don't know if you can see them there. But things that are good, the steps, I can actually move quickly, which in Perception Neuron 32, it would get slips a lot, but not the same thing with Perception Neuron 3. I'm not an acrobat or a gymnast, so I'm not going to do that. Somebody talked about, well, what is it like when I fall? I don't want to get too much. The outcome was that the falling part was good. I tried it. After your feet are up a little bit, it seemed to slip after that, you know. So the actual falling and making contact was good, but as soon as it sort of like lost track of the feet because they were up, it But other than that, I mean, hey, this is actually for a system that is, you know, under, I think it's $2,300, you know. No the software is free. The data is pretty good. You know, if I hold still, I'm holding still there. It's not slipping, it's not moving, it's not jittery. The head is moving all right. And it shows personality when you move. You know, if you're like, hey, what's up? You know, here I am. You want to fight? What? You know, you can see like my personality coming through on the mocap, you know. So we've got some tweaking to do. Let me show you before we are done.
Walking around, coming to the same.
Yeah, let's do that. But before we do that, yeah, well, let me show you that. I'm going to have you zero me out somewhere. Actually, let me face the camera so that I don't give you my back. So go back to the sensor. Oh, no, there it is. That icon there, the second one, that's your zero out. So I'm going to like be that my zero position. Okay, so one of the things we always like to try with these systems is we walk. So I was zeroed out right around here, see? And that is still sort of the middle there, right? But let's see what happens if I walk off and I come back to the same spot. So I'm going to walk slowly first and deliberately. And I'm going to touch over here and then come back to the same area. All right. And the question is, am I in the zero spot? Pretty close. I mean, not exactly, right? But pretty close. Let's walk a little bit faster. And actually, let me turn around a little bit over here and come back. There's a little bit of drift. It drifted a little bit more to the right, I guess, with some post-data cleanup where you tell the software exactly where your feet were making contact and lifting up. We might be able to fix that, no problem. So yeah, it keeps drifting a little bit. Not much, not as bad as it used to be. And again, this is just the raw data. We might be able to clean it up a little bit. Now let me show you something with the magnetism. If you go to device detail, yeah, let's look at that for a second. Okay, so magnetic. It's all looking good. Actually, scroll down a little bit because the more interesting parts are the hands. Okay, so right down on the list, we have the left hand and the right hand. Now, let me show you. We have, as you can see, hopefully if this video comes out, we are surrounded by electronics. So let's see what kind of things might be trouble. So as I'm going over here, this says, you know, everything is pretty. Let's see what happens as I touch the projector. We're still good. Okay. Now, I'm going to these monitors over here. Okay. Something with my left hand, right? Sort of when I got closer to here. Okay. And that one turned red. Now, if I pick up this keyboard, I have a keyboard. Reds and yellows. Okay. Same thing if I touch the mouse. Now, if I go to the charging here, all right, so this is where we charge our sensors. If I go over here, boom, red. So I'm now rethinking like how we charge these things. Like, is the problem the USB, and should we like put longer cables so that they are farther away, and maybe that's why we're having so many problems initializing, and we have to do the magnetic calibration. So if I touch the top of this, fine. If I put my hand towards the bottom, I think it's where there might be a little speaker. No, that one seems good.
What about the bigger one? Oh, it's off, so it won't matter.
Right. Well, it might matter anyway, yeah, if there's a magnet or speaker in there. Okay, so I think, again, at the top, oh, no, that one is no good. Well, it might be getting from the bottom of the other one, because I think there might be a speaker underneath there. Some of these things, like we have Vive trackers, not too bad, not too bad. Some of the USB, though, when you get to the USB, yep, that's when it starts turning red. The TourBox. So this is a little box that we got to be able to do this without touching keyboard. So let's see if this does any better. And it seems like this is good so far. There's sometimes it gets a poor, but not too bad. And what I've done with this TourBox is that you can program these buttons to do different things. And so I have one programmed to do the calibration, so that if we don't want to touch anything, magnetic, keyboards and so forth, you just press that button and you can calibrate without getting magnetic interference. So we're going to probably need to do that more. Now let me try one more thing, which is this wireless keyboard that we were... bring it over to me, because I know for a fact that over there by the computers, there's a lot of issues. Okay, so I'm holding this. This is fine, but see, depending where I hold this, yeah, so it turned red there. So I've noticed sort of like if I hold it here by the side, so this is just a wireless Logitech keyboard that we were using trying to avoid being close to the computers. And it just depends where you hold the keyboard, you know. So it's a little bit dangerous. If we can do it with the TourBox, that's better, okay? So yeah, like I was saying, it's a little bit dangerous to use this. If we use it with the TourBox, if we use the TourBox, it might be better to do that. Okay, so I think this is where we're going to end today's video. The hands is an issue, just to demonstrate that it's not so much the calibration. I'm going to recalibrate, and this time, if I can have you just press that one there.
This one?
Yeah. Nope, not that one. Sorry, the first one.
What did that one do?
Don't know. Yep, okay. I'm sorry to give you my back. I'm going to try it this way. T-pose. B. And the P.
That's closer.
It's closer. Let's see if I can see a better view. It's kind of hard to see. No, see? Yeah, it's an optical illusion. Like if you can see here.
You have to turn more.
I might not be able to see myself.
Turn a little bit.
Turn this way?
Yep, right there. So you can see the hands passing through each other.
You can?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's still passing through each other. And actually, I'm going to put them like as close together as possible. It's one higher than the other, like.
It might be.
Yeah.
Not by a lot. Not
by a lot, but. And it could be where the sensors are. we'll have to tweak and maybe talk to Perception Neuron and see what we can do about that. Now, one thing that does seem like it's better is this, right? Like if I do this, are they connecting?
Put your hand up so you can see. There. Yes.
Yeah, that seems to work pretty well. So for picking up objects and stuff, that seems perfect. Okay, what else can I show you?
Try your head again.
Oh yeah, let's touch the head. No, that one, now I'm way above it, it looks like.
Yeah, and your hands. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Now whether, you know, I was touching magnetic stuff too to demonstrate that tab, whether it just needs to be all recalibrated, it could be. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Next time, you know, we're going to continue doing these videos until we get Perception Neuron 3 figured out. Hopefully, you know, we're all learning here. So hopefully, you know, if you know anything that might help us out, leave it in the comments, let us know. And maybe next time we'll have the two of us and see how the two systems work out. Okay? Thanks for tuning in.